Hello, I'm Karen, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you how to crochet an actual bell gauge. This is the applique version of it. This is the genuine bell gauge, and as you can see they fit together there. Okay, you can actually make them into, we put two together, you pad them up with just a bit of your tail ends. It's a nice way to get rid of your tail ends. Put them together in a row. I've added a little bell on that one there, okay, so I found this pattern inside the Voynich manuscript, and I will share more about that at the end of this. But what I'm going to do is get on with the actual pattern, and then for those of you that want to find out more, you can watch that at the end of the video. Okay, so I am using double knit yarn. It says on there that it's for a 4mm crochet hook, which is also a number 8 in the UK. This is the 4mm crochet hook. Okay, so the instructions are, so you're going to begin with the magic circle. Leave yourself nice long tail ends because we use those for other things. If you can't do the magic circle, then what you're going to do is begin with a chain of 4. So we're going to do the magic circle and chain 3. So that's 1, just going to pull that so it's easier to hold, 2 and 3. Now we're using the treble crochet stitch if you're in the UK, which is actually the double crochet stitch if in the US. So you yarn over, go into your work, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. The chain on this particular pattern counts as an actual stitch. So we've already got 2. We need to make 2 more because we're making blocks of 4 stitches. Okay. And the block, I'm calling this a block just because it will help and it's easier. So this is block number 1. Now we're going to do a chain of 3. So it's 1, 2, 3. You're going to work over the last stitch that you made, so over the actual post of it, and make 3 more stitches so that you've got another block of 4. And it'll look like that. Okay. Then you do another, so that's 2 blocks, 1, 2, 3 chains and 3 more stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3. At this point I'm just going to pull this tail end tighter so it's out of the way. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're working over this post now. So this is going to be our 4th block. So that's 1, 2, 3 of those stitches. Right, so now what we're going to do is work straight over this next post here, and because we need 4 stitches for our block, we're going to make 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. Chain 3. Make 3 more stitches over this one. So this is block number 6. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we've got an obvious gap just there. We're going to work into that gap with the same stitch. And then between these next 2 posts here, we're going to do the same stitch just once in each of those places. And now we're coming to another area where we need to do a block of 4. So this is going to be block number 7. That's 2, 3, 4 stitches. Okay, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Work over the end of these here. So this is block number 8. 1, 2, 3. Now work into the obvious space just there. Work between the posts, like I said on the other one that we did previously. And then we've got another loop, so we're going to do the 4 in there. So this is our block number 9. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. And then we've got, there's just these 2 left here. So we're going to do a stitch that I've showed you before, 1 in each of them. Okay, now if we was to continue the pattern, you'd be needing to put 4 in there, but obviously you can see we're at the end now. So what we're going to do is just do it's a slip stitch or a single crochet depending where you're from. Okay, so I'm just going to leave myself a longer tail end to cut off for this one, just because I want to show you something else. But okay, so that is the basic of your bell. Whoops daisy. And just so that you can show you, so what I'm going to do is just show you this here. So if you put this with your bell, your tail end where you finish is there. If we look closely, oops, move that out of the way, we can see that is number 17. Okay, if you count your stitches, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13, the slip stitch makes number 14. If we'd have carried on doing our 4 stitches as we should, it would make number 17. But because that is number 14 on the bell gauge is the place where the number 4 crochet hook fits in. Okay, if you want to make the this version, what you'll do is you'll sew off your tail ends, and then you'll make a second one and you'll slip stitch to join, and you're going to slip stitch to join into these stitches. So you to be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and into that end there is 8 stitches. Then you just come along that way. Remember, number 8 is representing the crochet hook as in the English terminology. So just if you wanted to just make it as an applique, I'll show you what you would do is you would pull your tail end through to the back. Then between the next 2 posts, you'd pull your yarn back through. So we're just weaving it through. And then for one more time, you'd weave it to the actual, to the back of your work. So then this post here, we've got the gap there. We put your, put your hook through the actual gap, pick your yarn up from the back, pull through, then do a chain of 5. So it's 1 2 3 4 5, and then slip stitch between the posts of the next one there, pull that through, and then I'm just going to just pull that through to the back if I can, nice and neatly. Okay, so you can see how that ends up actually fitting the actual bell. Okay, so there you go. So that's how to make the actual bell. So thank you for watching and liking, sharing and subscribing for everybody that's watched that bit. If you'd like to continue to learn how I actually worked out this pattern from the Voynich manuscript, please stay. If you don't want to, then that's okay. Okay. Oh, sorry, before I go, just if you wanted to do the ones where you join them together, you put your tail end through there like that. You get your new bell that you want to join to it, pull these tail ends through your loop, and then put those tail ends through the loop that you've got on that bell. You pull it all tight together, and then you'd do 2 stitches around that and then into your work, and then do 2 stitches that way around into there to create these. There, look, you can see that lovely little stitch in there, just so you can join those together. Okay, all right, so that's all of that done there. Right, so if you want to learn about the manuscript, please stay. Okay, so for those of you who've been following me and knowing, what I've been doing is been working with what I'm now calling a complex anagram and playing some games in the Voynich manuscript. Because I had number 17 on the actual bell gauge and the number 14, which was all linking things together, 17, I decided, because Queen Elizabeth I was actually found out that she was going to be queen on the 17th of November 1558. If you play the game that I was playing before, you count down 17 lines, come across to the 17th symbol. That is the 17th symbol on page 1 of the Voynich manuscript. And then if we did the same with 11, come down like that, this is the symbol. With 15, that's the symbol, etc. So this is what they turn into if you turn them into English letters. So they are the English letters. So if I was breaking them apart and rebuilding it in the complex anagrams, these are the combinations I can get. The I all 8, which I've been on about for ages and ages, which we worked out that the 8 is the treble crochet stitch in the manuscript, and it also is the older version of the name for the number 4 hook. It can also turn into loves. In the last video that I did where I did the nonagon and the stars, it was the 9 times table thing that was there, and the answer was love. in that one. We kept getting love, and it also linked through to Shakespeare as well with the bell gauge, and also the number 14 because he had 14 buttons, and obviously the bell gauge fits his head. Loves is an anagram of solve. It can also turn into another numbers, which is 1559, which is the year that Queen Elizabeth I was actually coronated. And if we turn it into an actual crochet pattern, we've got the magic circle, chain 2. These are the treble crochet stitches, which is 7 stitches. That would represent a stitch. So that makes 8 post circle, and that's your slip stitch. And that is the 8 post circle. So that's the size that that would make if you did it with a 4mm crochet hook. Okay. So I don't know, I was thinking people aren't going to necessarily go with all of that. So I went a step further. So in the manuscript, so I'm going back to, now I'm on page 2. This is where I did the triangle and where I found lots and lots of my clues. This is where the word crochet is just there, is that word there. And then underneath it is that word there, which is, represents the stitches. So it's chain, magic circle, chain 3, treble crochet around. How many stitches do we do it around? I did the 3 and we did the 9 blocks to be able to crochet those. That is the beginning of the bell gauge pattern underneath the word crochet. And so what I did is I've written it out how it appears in the manuscript. So this here, if this was actually on its own, it looks like a number 4 in the manuscript, and this symbol here normally has a line if they're separated, but they're together in there because it was actually two half treble crochet stitches. So these are the symbols in the book. Turn those into English letters. That is an anagram of the word crochet. The one for the beginning of this pattern where I said, so in the manuscript it's joined together like that, which means around, but I've separated them so you can see the individual symbols that they are. So these, when it's done this way around, this one is the CR. I learned that from how they actually was doing their coding work in the 1500s. And so this symbol here is actually a question mark. Okay, so we can actually unscramble those. That gives us the word clock. This can be turned into the lowercase e, and this is the R. So we've got ER, which is Elizabeth Regina for Queen Elizabeth I. And clock is derived from the word clocker, which is medieval Latin for a traveller's cloak, and its literal meaning is a bell. Okay. So going back to my other clues where I'd actually said to you where I was doing the star and I was doing the nonagon, so that star, in the manuscript I could see 9 of symbols through there. So my clues, and that also made the 9 times table when I did the whole set of that. So the clue is a 9, yeah? And if we break that apart, rebuild that is actually a magic circle, chain 3, and the 3 treble crochet stitches, which is the beginning of this belt gauge. Okay, so I had to go a step further because I know that I'm just like that, because I just need to just do as much as I possibly can to try and demonstrate this. So what I've done is, obviously that's the word Elizabeth. These are the symbols to represent each of the letters. So as I showed you on this one here, whoops daisy, bring that back. The letter E, when it's on its own, looks like this. And the letter H, when it's on its own, looks like number 4. Okay. So if I was to write the word Elizabeth, it would actually look like that. And for those of you that have done research on the manuscript, you know that you don't come across anything that looks like that in the manuscript. Okay. However, let's just get the manuscript back. So this here is the 8th line down, just there. And this here, from that like number 4 to that little bit there where it's got that curve for that post, those are the words I'm using. Okay, from the book. They're here like this, so that's what they look like in the actual manuscript itself. And as you can see, what I've done is I've chosen the first and the last letter or symbol from each bit. This one, because it was on its own, I chose that one. Got this here. Yeah, so that's what I got. If we compare them to, so we've got a number 4, the number 9, which is representing the T. So then we get 2 of these symbols here, realistically the B was a number 2, but I've got 2 of those, so I'm taking that to represent that because that just was making logic sense. We've then got the twist symbol, which is here to represent the A. We then got this symbol is at the end there, which is the question mark, which I couldn't find a letter Z, and the question mark seems to be the one that you use to be able to do such a thing. Then we've got this little like pretty P symbol, which is just there. So realistically, I was missing the E's and the letter L. Okay, so when I was actually doing the game that I was playing from page 1, the game that I played had to find a missing letter, which the missing letter was the letter E. And when I used the Voynich, when I used the bell gauge on Shakespeare, the E was actually the letter that was showing through, and it also worked with the star. So we've already found lots of missing E's. So we've definitely got E's to be able to put into there, which meant I was missing the letter L. Okay, and this is the symbol inside the manuscript to represent the letter L. But on the bottom of the page, so just here, that last word there, that word there, if you look at the manuscript, it looks like that. I'm just covering this up just so you can see what that bit looks like. Okay, I've already been able to translate that the C itself equals an S. So this here is the missing L to be able to make Elizabeth. To prove that this is an L, I've translated this C obviously into the correct letters, and then we've got the L at the end. So we could actually have an anagram of Ask L. But it does work with the complex anagram and turns into the word love, which matched up with all the other things that I was doing. So I had to go one step further because even though, as far as I'm concerned, this is the signature. So if we get Queen Elizabeth, so here we've got the 5. The 5 was the chain 5. Yep. The 5 is also the 5th letter of the alphabet, which is the letter E. Elizabeth itself is actually 9 letters long. We had to use 9 blocks to make the actual bell gauge. Queen Elizabeth is 14 letters long. We've already showed number 14 is on the bell gauge, which is representing the crochet hook. If we use the complex anagrams where we break the letters apart and put them into their symbols, it would look like this. I have broken the circle into 2 pieces to make 2 C shapes, because they would normally fit together to be able to make the circle. So this here, if I turn it into crochet pattern, this is round 1 and this is round 2. It actually crochets up this granny square. This granny square is the same measurements, sorry, the tail ends, move the tail ends out of the way, from point to point as the actual bell gauge. Yeah. Just so that you know that. Also, that has 24 stitches all the way around the outside. There is 24 numbered pieces on here. There is 25 holes because that's the 25th, but there's 24 numbered pieces on there. Okay, so that was that. If we then rebuilt them, so all of these symbols rebuild, we would make the word bell gauge. We would have 17 of these straight lines left over, these 17 sticks. We've already showed you the number 17 was the last one where the bell gauge pattern finishes, and also is the date. Queen Elizabeth became the first. This is Queen Elizabeth I came the first. So we've got 17 of these sticks. If you play the complex anagrams with sticks, you need 14 of the sticks to make the word hook, which is obviously the number 14, 14 hook. And then we've got 3 sticks left over, which is a number 4, and this is the 4mm crochet hook that fits into number 14 on the actual bell gauge. So I personally, not only do I believe that Queen Elizabeth I actually wrote these parts and wrote the Voynich manuscript, that she also wrote the crochet pattern for the actual bell gauge, and not only is she the author of the Voynich manuscript, I believe that because she's made this, the bell gauge fits the pattern. It's not the other way around, because you have to make the number 17 to go there to be able to work all of that out, for that to be a number 17. So I do believe that Queen Elizabeth I is the actual inventor of the bell gauge as well. And just because I wanted to, so if we get the 3 together, just to show you as well that they actually measure 8 inches long. Yeah, so it says, whoops, if I pick it up and be as near as I can and stretch everything, that is definitely, stretch the actual work, it could make it a little bit longer, but it was 8 inches, which is also another number 8. 3 times 8 is the 24, which is the 24 holes in the actual bow gauge. Okay, so I honestly do believe that Queen Elizabeth I did all of this. I do believe that this is her hidden signature inside the Voynich manuscript. Okay, so thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing, thank you for subscribing. Bye for now.